sure. And but listen, we got 5 healthy old linemen. And I don't know how long that'll last. So we went. So we needed it. We needed to play some football. So
how many plays did you do, and what was your takeaways from scrimmage?
a lot. We've done. Won't give you the exact number. I got to add them all up, but it was more than I've done probably in the last 3 years. Not combined, but just in terms of a scrimmage. But we have to play. You know, we've watched them. A lot of our spring practice has been, okay, learn how we do this. Learn how we do 7-on-7. Learn how we do team. Learn how we do all the stretches and the exercises. And now it's time to be able to take what you've learned and apply it. You know, who can retain the information? Even today, we learned how we do our we came out and we did our pregame routine for the game, which is different than practice. We had to do that for a half hour. You know, everything's new for the first time when these guys are doing it. But now we had to be able to apply what we've learned. You know, who could make decisive decisions? Who could play poised? Who's going to make plays? And we created the most game-like experience we possibly could for them. And, we had a lot of guys perform. We have a lot of guys got to get better. But again, it helped our coaches. Coaches made mistakes. I made mistakes. We all make mistakes. But there's so much to grow from a lot of this film.
Did you have Dovich back? Is that how you got to 5?
We did, yeah. Dovich came back. It was wonderful. Just came back. Dovich, how you doing? Doing great, Coach. Glad to be back. Okay, get out there. We're scrimmaging. You know, like, it's a good thing you're here. So, but we have to use it while we have it. And this was the most valuable practice we've had because we needed this. We really did. This is going to be the most memorable and valuable film we have in the spring because we need to be able to make a lot of decisions off this heading into training camp and obviously the summer.
Even more than the spring game?
Absolutely. Yeah, our spring game is not exactly the spring game that everybody thinks it's going to be a spring game. Like I told you before, I meant what I said. I'm not saying like literally it's circus, but there's going to be a lot of things around here that we're going to do because I don't know if we're going to have 5, you know, and those guys need a break. You know, I'm not just going to, because think about it, when you in a game, when you play 12 plays, you go sit down for 12 or 14 minutes. Well, unless everybody wants us to be like in between pitches, where 14 minutes we'll be over there, everybody stops and, you know, we do something. You know, we get out here and have some students kick field goals and, you know, win target gift cards and do all that stuff. Then, you know, that's not how we're going to run it. So we're going to have to be very creative in how we do that. There's going to be probably some individual. I want our fans to watch us coach as coaches because they haven't seen us coach. I want them to watch us coach our individual positions. We're going to scrimmage a little. We will do some tackling cool drills. People will be able to see some cool tackling drills that we do in practice, like the Sky Umad drill, the tough yard, find outs we call them. So it's kind of going to be run like a practice / game. It's kind of an event because we just won't have the bodies to run an entire game. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I still haven't made those final decisions. It just depends on the health of our football team and the depth coming out of here.
When you came in and evaluated different positions groups, I would assume running back was probably near the top of what you felt like where you had depth-wise. Is that fair to say?
I'll be honest with you. That's one of the only positions we have depth at. And you know, I thought those two had a phenomenal day today. I know you guys weren't in here for a lot, but Rodney and Shannon both, they showed why I think, one, they're really good backs and how they can continue to become elite. I think Kenny Burns has done a tremendous job of developing those young guys. Boy, I tell you what, they got how now. They got how. They make some runs, too, that it's like, wow, they really care about their teammates. So that's what today showed. How bad do you care about your teammates? You know, that's the fun part about scrimmage. You find that out. Because it's really not about you. It's not about how you feel. You know, it's about how you respond to all that. And are you willing to give it up for your teammate? And I thought those two did a tremendous job.
How have you seen the interconnectedness between those two, given the fact that they are standout running backs at that same position?
Well, I think our culture. Yeah, great question, Andy. I think what we do is our culture demands selflessness, and so you know you're not allowed to be selfish. And the culture demands that you can't be, and there's no way that you can be in our culture. And so to watch those two go back and forth, and really feed off each other, you know, promote each other. I don't think they're very concerned right now about who gets the most carries. They're going to get both a lot of carries. But, you know, one thing I love about them, they cheer for each other. They want each other to do really well, and they're really good friends. That helps. So it goes back to what I said when I first got the job, compete with, not against. Who's your team? And in practices, I mean, you know, besides 12 games or 13 games, 14 games, like you compete with your teammates, not against them. Against is with the opponents, but in terms of with, that's what we mostly are trained to do. And there's a big difference in that. The way you respond with your body language, the way you promote your teammates, the way if you fail, do you affect everybody else and spread that amongst everybody else, or do you respond in a positive way? Do you make everybody else around you better? That's competing with. And that initial result, That's the data and information you have, whether you got your butt kicked or whether you kick butt. But the most important thing is right after that, what do you look like? You know, and that's where we got to take the next step for everybody.
Where have you seen those two act as leaders to some of the guys with less experience?
Well, I think they're learning how to do it, because just because you played in a game or just because you played games and had some stats does not make you a leader. You know, leadership is influencing others and bringing the best out of somebody that maybe they didn't even think could bring it out of themselves. Right? You bring out the best in people, and then you make everybody else around you better. They're learning how to do that. They're not there yet. They're learning how to do that. They're both in the leadership council meetings. They're learning how to do that. They're applying it day by day by day. I thought John Celestine did a tremendous job of leading today, the entire defense. And he didn't do anything like that the first practice we had. He didn't know how to do it. He's been in my office 4 or 5 times already. How could I do it? What'd you think? And he loves the criticism and the feedback, and he responds to it. So we're growing leaders. We need a lot more, because when you haven't had the experience or the success on offense, especially offense, defense, or special teams, it's hard to be able to sit there and say, okay, I've led. Most times leadership comes from I've been there, done that, very familiar with the situation. If you just attach yourself to me, everything will be okay. We don't have that yet. We don't have that guy that just calms everybody down because, hey, I'm here. Listen, Western Michigan, we had Corey Davis. Just throw it to Corey. He'll calm everybody down. He'll hand it to Jarvion Franklin, Jamari Bogan. Let Zach scoot up in the pocket and create a 3rd and 17 and somehow get 18 yards on it when he can't even run a 4.8 40, right? So it's that leadership that we have to be able to get to, that when it hits the fan, who can we rely on to perform? Who's going to bring us back to center? Those are things we got to get better.
Did you guys want to have 2 top backs, all like Franklin and Bogan?
Always.
So is that been
Yeah, Jim Tressel told me one thing before I left Ohio State University. And he said, PJ, just so you know, if you ever become a head coach, you cannot have enough backs. It's true. I mean, it's one of the most violent positions, right? And it's a long season. I still remember Jarvion Franklin came as a true freshman. He was the only back we had. He had again an average carries of 40 carries a game. I mean, geez. I mean, by the end of the season, it was one, a freshman, but 2, we just wore him into the ground. But it was all we had. And at the end of the year, we faded. You know, we lost our last 2 games. Where when we got 2 backs in the system, we took off. We won our bowl game. You know, we won the MAC West. Then we won the championship when we had 3 backs. Right? So more and more backs. You can't have enough. The way we run our system, we want speed, we want freshness, we want aggressiveness, we want mental toughness, we want physical play. So you can't have enough of those.
What was the process to bring Rob?
Hey guys, this will be our last one for Coach.
Rob Smith. What was the process to bring him in?
Well, first of all, I kind of have some rules on kind of how I hire people. I told you in my press conference what I look for, but at the end of the day, I have to know you somehow, some way to bring you into the culture, or trust someone so close to me that they would put, they'd lay down their life for that person. They would vouch that much, and then I'd still have to talk to them, get to know them, because I think that, I'm not for everybody. I think that's been very clear. I'm not for everybody. You're either really going to like me or you're not going to like me, and that's okay. But I have a job to do, and I want to hire the best people, the best teachers, the best educators, the best husbands, the best fathers, and down that list becomes football coach, right? Because that's the same thing with our culture, with our players, same thing. Rob Smith's an incredible dad, an incredible husband, incredible worker, incredible recruiter, developer of talent. We met when I was at Rutgers. He had top 5 defense out there. I love the type of defense we ran at Western Michigan. I wanted to keep it similar, and it's pretty similar to that. It kind of stems from the Schiano and Bob Frazier tree that we had, and I wanted to kind of keep that type of attacking style defense, a lot of man coverage, things like that, very aggressive. And Rob was perfect because he was down in Tampa with me as well. We worked with the Buccaneers together, and very familiar, very good friends, know each other very well. And again, he knows what I'm like. He knows what kind of culture he's walking into. Last thing you want to do is hire a coach. The next thing you know, he's never worked for me, doesn't know much about me. First day you sit in that team meeting and you're sitting there going, what? I have to teach what? To who? What Gopher talk? What? And they don't fit or don't understand that culture. So that's what about hiring him. And I think he's doing a tremendous job because it's completely different than what they've had here in the past in terms of just a different system. But I think he's doing a tremendous job teaching it to our players, and we're getting a lot of results from that. And the response to our results are getting better on defense. So.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. What does +3 mean? Plus three in everything we do.
All right.
You know, all 4 areas of our life: academically, athletically, socially, spiritually. You've got to improve 3/10 in your GPA every semester. Right? Athletically, you've got to finish beyond any line, 3 yards past that. And then what we do is we add all those up. Spiritually, they have to change 3 other people's lives if they didn't change.